What's up, Jeremy? What's going on?
How's it going, Josh?
Dude, are you exhausted?
Yeah, uh, more from homework than fishing, but um, trying to. I got loaded up with some classes this week, and they kind of hammered me. So
Oh,
I've been working on homework till about 1 o'clock every morning, and uh, getting up about 5.
okay. Well, tell me about it. When did you get to Florida? I guess for everyone that's listening, Jeremy's down in Florida getting ready for the 10, doing his pre-fishing. But I want to hear the beginning of the journey so far.
All right, I took off from Missouri last Friday. Got down here Saturday morning, and uh, I had several spots kind of picked out, and I went to the first spot that I kind of wanted to hit, and there was, I don't know, it's only about a 500-acre lake that's fishable anyway, and I could see 3 different kayaks and 3 different bass boats, and there was even more trailers than that in the parking lot. So I was like, yeah, I'm out of here. That ain't my cup of tea. So I something to myself, and actually it wasn't to myself. I had to share a lot of water with gators that day.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a little bit.
There was 6 of them that day, and I was within probably 15 foot of one of them. I came around a corner, and he kind of surprised me, and we shared a moment.
Well, what was the ride like? That's not a short drive. Was it? What's the weather difference? I know everyone's down there getting sunburned right now. Like my wife, I was telling you, was gonna be late getting on tonight because she's driving through a blizzard and got stuck behind the snow tandem trucks or whatever.
Yeah.
What was the ride down like?
Uh, just long and boring. It was like miles, but I just kind of I took off 9 o'clock, I think, Friday morning, and I was down here by 2 in the morning. So
Okay.
waited in line for Walmart to open up so I could go buy a license, and I was on the water probably 8:30 or so.
I didn't even take a nap, huh?
Well, yeah, I slept in the Walmart parking lot for like 3 hours.
Okay, that's not bad. It's not bad. What's it been like as far as I mean, have you been covering a lot of water, or have you been dialing it in, or has it just been graphing? Like, what have you been doing?
I've I've been trying to just cover water as much as I can. As,
So, oh,
as far,
sorry.
I'm looking for stuff that's out of the way because I know there's a lot of people down here, and I've only fished around a couple people so far. Um, but there's been a couple spots where they're like, "Oh yeah, there was 8 or 9 people back here last year," and I'm like, "Okay, well that tells me that I'm probably not coming back."
Okay. What's the? Have you seen a lot of other kayak anglers? Have you noticed anyone around as far as anyone you know or anything like that?
Just a couple on the water. I ran into Joe Camiotti yesterday. Um, let's see who else. I, I've got a terrible memory, but yeah, I've probably run into 3 or 4 guys on the water, and then I've waved at people driving around town with kayaks in the back of their trucks. So
Yeah. Well, shit, dude, you've been there since the week. You've been over through the weekend. It's Monday now or Tuesday now, whatever. It's getting close to the middle of the week. What's it been as far as has it been? Are you tired? Are you tired of fishing? Have you been on the water all the time? Are you really getting out there early and staying out all day, or are you kind of just pacing yourself? Because you got a lot of fucking fishing going on like within the next few weeks. So like are you burning the end at both? Burn the candle at both ends, or are you just kind of just taking it easy, just kind of enjoying it, and just really focusing on the pre-fishing portion of it?
I'm concentrating on trying to get my homework done because I don't know I don't want to fall behind because then I would just be even more stressed. Because I mean they just stacked it on, and so I've been getting off the water pretty early. Today I was off the water by I don't know 11 or noon. Saw what I needed to saw at the place I checked, and I got out of there.
What?
Tomorrow I'm probably gonna most of the day on the water since I got a pretty good dent in my homework today.
Yeah. Well, how much do you really think you need to pre-fish, like time-wise? Granted, if you can go out there and fish all you want, I guess, but still, it's like you're there for a while. I mean, like sometimes I feel like you can overdo it in a way because if I have more than 2 days, like I'm gonna freak myself out because I'm gonna know too much and then I'm gonna want to do too much at the same time.
I really don't think there's such a thing as too much information because I've never had to fish 4 days of tournament fishing straight on the same body of water before.
True,
So
true.
between the Invitational and the 10, I need to have a fish in my back pocket for 4 different days. So I mean, I need to try to find 20 good ones.
Jeez. No pressure, no pressure.
Right.
Oh, yeah. Well, what's it been like so far? As far as the is it hot, miserable? The fish biting? Are you enjoying yourself? I mean, the schoolwork sucks, but as far as the fishing and the climate goes, because like I said, right now I'm freezing my ass off in my basement. The water's frozen, so it's night and day compared to what I'm going through right now. How are you feeling right now with all the weather? Are you catching fish? Do you feel comfortable with everything going on in Florida?
Yeah, the weather's been awesome. The fish have been cooperating decently. Um, Especially this last weekend, the fishing was really good. Found quality and some quantity spots. Um, I got 3 more days and see how many more spots I can figure out because I plan on doing some spot hopping if I have to. So I'm looking at spots that I can get off the water and be launching in a new area within 20, 30 minutes.
Right. Well, besides the dinosaurs swimming around you, is this your first time to Florida?
No, this is my second time fishing down here. First time
Okay.
fishing a tournament though.
Okay.
Besides Seminole last year.
Right. Well, Seminole to me is the Georgia Florida line. Like it's not even like the heart of Florida, like where you're at now. Like you're in the middle of Florida. You're in like crazy gator country and
10 minutes
water,
from 10 minutes from Disney World.
yeah, water billies all over the place. I mean, just a crazy place. But what's it like fishing in Florida compared to like where you're from? Like, has there been like big changes that you've noticed, or things you had to kind of adapt to? As far as, I mean, like for one, like just this time of the year, we're not fishing back home for the most part. I mean, I know some guys go out there and they like to, drag a jig across the bottom, for hours and hoping to get one bite. But it's a totally different monster right now. Is there anything new, anything different that you're having to adjust to?
This place is flatter than Kansas. I
Yeah,
mean, there's no there's very few topographical features that I can pick out like when I'm just down and until you get like into the canals or um, just like the creeks. That's where I feel the most comfortable is getting back in the creeks, finding some current, just doing what I know how to do. That's one of my strengths is just kind of junk fish in the river.
right. So not much of that going on down there though.
You might be surprised.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I mean, I haven't fished down there in years, and even living in Florida, like parts of Florida are so much different than other parts. Like I was in the Panhandle, which it's just different compared to like where you're at right now. Um, you know, it just wasn't the same, but it still produces like big bass. But have you caught it? Have you caught a big bass that you're like, oh shit, like you've got a big monster Florida bass?
No, haven't caught any monsters.
Uh,
I've caught some decent ones, but nothing that was really brag worthy. I mean, I've taken some pictures of some, but I I'm I'm kind of superstitious when it comes to posting pictures of fish before a tournament.
yeah,
Um, I just stay off social media unless it's something that's I find entertaining.
yeah, like dinosaurs.
Yeah,
Um,
that was a good one for me to post. I mean, like I said, he surprised me, and we had a little chat, and then I saw him as I rolled back through to go back and load back. But
yeah, that
the
would be
camera,
my cue. I'm done with that shit. I don't do alligators or snakes anymore. It's like living in Florida, you build a real fear towards like animals because up here in upstate New York, there really isn't anything up here that can eat you or that wants to eat you. There's nothing in here that wants to bite you, but everything in Florida wants to hurt you. There's alligators, there's snakes, water moccasins. Like there's like 6 different species of poisonous snakes that will kill you. There's sharks, brown recluse spiders and black widows and whatever. Like there's always something. There's a possibility
don't forget pythons down by Miami.
yeah, the python they got pythons there now. that are running out of food because they've eaten all the alligators. I mean, it's madness down there. When you get away, because I remember just going down like the creeks and like on an inner tube, floating down the creek on an inner tube, and snakes just hanging from the trees. You know what I mean? Just fall in the water, and it's just.
Wow.
And up here, you don't worry about that shit. I go in the water. Like if I feel something touch my leg, I don't have to be scared because I know I'm not in Florida anymore. It's not a snake or it's not an alligator or whatever. It probably really is just a stick or something. But I don't miss the dangers of Florida.
I don't mind it. I would much rather be a safe distance away from an alligator than having a water moccasin crawl up through a skull hole or something. That would that, you'd see me dance really fast if something like that happened.
Yeah. So what's the next few days gonna look like? I know you still got a lot of homework to crush. Are you enjoying the food? Did you get some oysters yet? Are you? Have you got the mahi mahi or the blackened grouper or anything? Are you enjoying like those things outside of fishing?
I've been eating the Latin food. That's
Yes.
what I've had so far. I do plan on hitting a good seafood restaurant before I get out of here, but
Yeah.
I'm trying to just budget my time and spend as much time on the water and as much time on my homework as possible. So pretty much everything's just kind of a take and go. I'm not sitting down really enjoying the time at any of the restaurants.
Yeah. Yeah. Now with your pre-fishing, or you're not hammering areas. Is there a certain thing that you're looking for that says this spot's good or this spot's no good? Like, what's your process? I know some people don't like to hook them. I know some people want to find at least like three good quality fish and then move on. Like, what's been like kind of your strategy that you've kind of developed over the years?
Uh, I I try not to hook any more than one. If I go to a spot and I see something that looks good, and if I catch one in that area, I'm moving on. Um, and then I'll just keep running that pattern. And if I keep running into fish, I know I've got something.
Yeah.
And I've got a little something here, but we'll see. I mean, we got a cold front coming in tomorrow night.
Yeah, that's what sucks about Florida this time of year is that, yeah, it can be good, but like a cold, it's still technically, a winter, whatever that means for Floridians. But I mean, a cold front can still come in and turn things off or turn things around. I know that happened. I think it happened last year, at the same time. So yeah, you never really know, right? I guess that's the problem with like pre-fishing. It's like you get onto something, it might not be there come game day, you know?
Sure. Yeah, that's why they call it fishing and not catching. But I mean, water temp 66 right now, and we're going to see 40s the next couple nights. So, I mean, that might knock the temperature back 3, 4, 5 degrees. So I don't know. I guess we'll just have to see what happens.
Yeah, yeah. But when do you guys actually start moving into the house? Like when you guys? Well, I mean, you got to do the Invitational too. Are you doing the Invitational and the Trail Series that they got, or the Trail events?
I'm signed up for the Invitational. I haven't signed up for the trails yet. If you see me sign up for the trails, it's because I'm on enough good fish. As it is right now, if I don't, I'm looking at the Invitational as just 2 more days of pre-fishing. If I enter the
Right.
trail, I've got enough fish for 4 days to be competitive. So
Right. Because I mean that counts. Like I imagine for you, the Invitational doesn't really mean anything. It's that maybe a chance to cash a check or keep someone from the house. But the trail, that's Angler of the Year points. That's to get you into the 10 for the next season or whatever. There's a lot of stuff riding on the trail. I couldn't imagine just doing that just to do it. Like if I'm doing a trail event, it's because I want to be real successful because it counts. I think it counts a little more because you're already in the 10. When the Invitational doesn't put you in the house, you're already going to the house.
yeah, I went ahead and entered it anyway, and I mean it's $100. I guess we'll see what happens, but I need to find at least 4 solid spots because I know I can't lean on any of the spots that I've got right now for 4 days straight.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, you still got plenty of time. I can't believe how much time. Like Derek Brundle's down there right now too. I mean, it's just yeah. I mean, is this it? Is this gonna be like your big event for the year, and then you're gonna taper off a little bit, maybe come back strong, come back mid season or something? Because this is a lot. This is about 17 days of straight fishing for you. I know you're
Yep.
going to Seminole right after, right?
Yep. Leaving straight after the awards for the 10, and I'm gonna try and get 2 full days of pre-fishing before I before I fished 2 days up there. So
Jeez, that would be it for me for my season for the most part. The wife would be like, "Hey, that's it, you're done." Um, I mean,
my wife,
that's
and she's really cool about it. I mean, um, I don't know. I really enjoy it, but um, I'm gonna be ready to get home by the time this trip's over. I can
yeah, dude.
guarantee.
You might not even want to fish anymore after that. That's that's a lot of fishing, dude. It's a lot of time on the water.
I already miss being on rivers in the Ozarks. I'm ready to go fish some rivers in the Ozarks.
Yeah, well, what's it like there right now? Is it? Do you guys get winters like I get?
No,
No.
we might get it because I live in the southern part of Missouri. So if
Okay.
we get more than 2 or 3 solid snows in one winter, it would be very very uncommon, and it usually doesn't stick around long enough to actually even let the kids play in it. Really.
Nah, jeez, it's so bad here right now. So bad. So let's talk about it. Like, you're already going. Like, you already got a spot in the 10. How do you feel about it? Who are some of the people you're looking at right now? Here's a question for you. Who are some of the people you think that could earn their way into the house right now that you got your eyes on?
Oh man, there's there's a lot of big sticks. Um, Casey Reed, solid. Um, Cody Milton.
Yeah,
I mean, he's a hammer anywhere he goes. I mean, that's two right off the top of my head.
Tim
Um,
Woods down there.
yeah, Ken Woods down here. He he said something about not messing with me the other day. I don't know. I guess he didn't run into any last year.
No, he was out there chasing cows. I think last year. He's out there cow tipping shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot of sticks. It was kind of a weird year because like when you look at the names, like usually like when you look at like the roster the year before, like, there's like a bunch of people that were just repeats. I think like Josh Stewart won like 2-3 years in a row. Like a whole bunch of people, and this year I didn't recognize most of the names. I recognize yours because I talked to you. It's like your third time on the show, but there's a lot of new faces going into the 10. In fact, the only people I think that have been there before is Brundle and Snyder's. Have you met any of the other anglers by any chance?
Uh, any of the other guys in the 10?
Yeah.
I'm staying with Anthony Winkleman.
Oh, I had him on the show not too long ago. He's a really cool guy.
I listened to that on the way down here.
Yeah. Did he listen to it? Because that's gotta be awkward. I can't listen to my shows over. Like once I record them, I never listen to them ever.
I don't like hearing the sound of my own voice either.
Yeah, dude, that sounds stupid. But so do you know him? Do you fish with him a lot?
No, this was our first time meeting. I actually learned more about him from listening to your podcast than I did before I even said that we'd stay in an Airbnb together. So.
Nah. Oh, okay. So that's the fishing community for you, right? You just
Sure.
meet someone online. Next thing you know, you're staying in Airbnb together.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but any other guys? Have you heard any of those other names before besides like the two big ones? Or are any of those guys like I don't know where they came from. I don't know how the season last year was so like just crazy and off and wasn't
The thing was it was 2020.
Yeah.
2020 sucked on levels and it just changed a lot of people's plans. There was people that probably just couldn't make it to tournaments that normally do fish. I mean, what else happened? Bassmaster started their series, and Hobie started their first full year of a series. So that's a lot of different big series that are having some big payouts. So it pulls people into 3 different directions.
Yeah, it's a very good point.
I think that's why you see such a diverse crowd that you hadn't seen for the 10.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Have you talked to Chad Hoover at all since you've been down there? Do you know kind of like do you get like a list of things you got to do? Because I mean, like day one, moving to the house. Are you guys doing any interviews like they did last year with like Scott Butcher or anything like that? Like,
I know they have a media day scheduled for Monday. So the Temptational and the trail events wrap up on Sunday. We'll move into the house, I guess, and then they've got media day set for Monday. So if they're gonna do interviews, I would assume it would be that day.
Yeah.
So, but I haven't heard anything. I don't know. Maybe they don't want us to know too much information. Just treat us like mushrooms.
Yeah. Do you know when you're actually supposed? Do you know where the house is going to be? Have you did any
Nope,
drive-bys or anything like that? No. Oh man.
nope, no clue.
Okay.
I, I don't even want to. I don't even want to know about it. I just want to find fish for 4 days. That's all I'm about right now. I
Yeah.
I two shits less about where the house is.
Yeah, because you know, like what was funny, like last year, like they're all like excited, like, "Oh, this house is huge. This house is sick." It wasn't like you really have much time to spend there.
Yeah.
It's like you wake up, you pre-fish, or you go out there and you fish a tournament. You come back, you're exhausted. You change your reels or whatever your lines and get ready for the next day. It's not like you're gonna be like hanging off the balcony doing backflips into the pool or doing keg stand. It's not like that at all, right?
It's not going to be Animal House. I
No.
seriously.
Yeah, there's no reason why I will never make it to things like that because everywhere I go is a party. So that's just how I do things. You look at guys like Brundle and everyone else. They take things so serious. Like, sometimes I'm like, dude, is fishing fun for you guys? Because you guys haven't had a beer yet.
Oh, that's all right. I mean, I don't drink beer a whole bunch, anyways.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had plenty of those nights where I stumble out of a bar at like 5 in the morning or whatever, stop by a German bakery and stumble back to the barracks. So
Oh yeah. I just haven't grown up yet. Like I still live in the barracks. Like mentally, I'm still living in the barracks. Well, cool. Well, now, what do you think? Like as far as like the competition goes, like what do you feel about like some of the people you're staying with? Is there anyone that you're really? I mean, obviously, you can't predict, and you said it earlier. It's not. It's called fishing, not catching. Is there anyone that you're seeing like that that you're like, oh, that guy can really throw him down, or someone that you're really going to look at, or maybe people who kind of know the waters a little bit better than some of you guys? Is there anything that you're kind of like thinking about in the back of your head?
Russ Snyder's. I mean, I'd love to see what he's doing this week. Uh, but I know he knows where they. I mean, he's posted a couple pictures so far this week. I mean, he's been here a couple times before. I don't know how many times he fished previous to last year, but um, the guys knows how to catch them everywhere in the country. So
Yeah, and then I don't know if you've been following Brundle, but he's already caught a few big ones.
yeah, I saw that. I saw him running a Vision 110 earlier today.
I wonder if he's just doing that to get in your guys' head, or if he just doesn't care. Because I mean, that's to me, that's a good. It's like look what I got, Jeremy. And like, and he's got this
All
giant.
right, it'd take a lot more than that to get. I, I just that's my personal preference is I don't post pictures or anything about fish before a tournament. So, I mean, if they want to do that, hey, that's great. That's just not how I roll.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I couldn't help it. If I caught a big Florida bass, like I got to tell the world, so everyone knows that I did that. It's very important that I get that recognition and that instant gratification and like that 200 likes or whatever. That's a very important thing to me.
I just look at it as that's digital doc talk.
Yeah, it is.
Him posting that he caught that fish schooling on a Vision 110 on Toho. He might be on the south end of Kissimmee. Who knows? Nobody freaking knows. You couldn't see anything behind him that would identify where he was.
Yeah.
So, I mean, all it is he's either providing misdirection or he's just wanting to show us that he's on them.
Yeah.
Either way,
Yeah.
that's up to him.
And there's nothing you can do about it. You still got to find 4 more spots.
I just need to do my thing.
Yeah. And so, what do you think is going to take to win the 10? Like when you're down there and seeing how to fish, like what do you see it being like a big limit? Meaning like what do you think so far?
If I had to go off what I've seen so far, if the weather doesn't change anything, I'd say it'll take anywhere from the high 80s to low 90s each day to win.
Okay.
So somewhere between 170 and 180, maybe low 190s or low 180s.
Yeah. Well, where are those fish? Like, are those fish? I can't even imagine. Like, my fish are hiding in deep in the deep under ice. Are they moved up? Are they spawning? Are they doing anything like getting ready to spawn, pre-spawn? Like, what do fish do in Florida at the end of January?
There's some of them that are up shallow, but but it's been more sporadic than what I would have thought.
Okay.
I think most of the fish that I've been finding are resident fish. Um, I haven't run into any schools. I'm still searching for that right patch of hydrilla um, to try and pull fish off of. That hasn't happened yet. Um, so pad stems with a Cinco, some little bit of top water, which that's always fun catching fish on.
Yeah. Yeah. That's,
Um,
that's 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 what you go down there for. I love top water bites.
but yeah, I mean, I've caught them on a lot of different stuff, but I haven't really put together a pattern. So I think that just kind of lines up more in my wheelhouse because
Right, the junk fishing, right?
I mean, if something looks good for a swim jig, I throw a swim jig. If I got something that looks like throw a buzz bait or something, I'm throwing a buzz. So I mean, I like it. I'm having a good time, and I'm ready to get back out there tomorrow and try and put another piece of the puzzle in.
Yeah. Well, shit, man. That's good for you. I'm excited for you. Like I didn't know you were gonna make it to 10. I didn't even know. Like, your year kind of turned out to be pretty phenomenal last year with the things that kind of happened. Like just like one event like puts you in a lot of places where you were able to compete against the best in the world and go up there. Pretty much you were fishing the two big events in kayak bass fishing. The tournament champions and now the 10. Dude, how did it feel like to have your name in both those, whether it was amongst the top 50 or the top 10?
Yeah, I mean, I was honored to be asked to be in both. I mean, um, I knew that I needed to head down to Knoxville once I won the All American, and but I mean, a month before that in October, I qualified for the Bassmaster Classic too. So, I mean, that's three big events.
Yeah,
The only other name that comes to mind that would be on all three of those lists would be Russ Snyder's. I'm not saying that I'm anywhere close to his level, but he's the only other name that I can think of that is fishing all three of those.
yeah, you're absolutely right. You didn't see that coming though. Like the beginning of the season when we first talked. I mean, like it's just cool what can happen. Like and why you got to do these things and put yourself out there, make these long trips, and whatever, spend the money. Like it could turn out in like your best interest. You know what I mean? Taking a chance.
I mean, you don't win if you don't play. So um, I look at it as the biggest thing is growing the fallen outdoors. Like if I can talk to somebody and meet somebody, like I have so many people ask about what I got going, like if I got a hat on or whatever, hey, what's that? Or if they see me in my van, hey, tell me about the fallen outdoors. And I've had a lot of people be like, okay, I'm going to join the page and I'm going to see how I can get involved. So that's a big part of it for me.
Yeah, and to be able to represent it in those sports too, because hopefully, like I don't know exactly what Chad's gonna do. I don't know. Like last year, this was like things like it was broadcasted a little bit more around this time, as far as like the people that are going in the 10. But I know he's got something up his sleeve, and now you got a platform where you can really talk about the outdoors and like what that is and what it means to you, and hopefully reach a few people because your platform is growing. Like people are gonna start knowing who you are. Hopefully, we start getting more followers, and you get more times on different podcasts and things like this. I mean, this all can like really open it up, like a chance for you to really do what you really want to do with the sport.
Sure, it's pretty exciting. I mean, I really don't think kayak fishing is too far away from the whole PKA deal. I mean, I know there's a select few that do it for a living, and I really don't have any intentions of living on the road like that, like some of these people do. I mean, I still got kids at home,
Right.
and I already miss my wife. I mean, uh, and I'm sure I'll miss her even more once I leave from Seminole. So I'm already looking forward to getting back home, but
Yeah.
I want to take care of some business down here first.
Yeah, understandable. Well, let's talk about the because I know it's near and dear to your heart, but the fallen outdoors, man. Why don't you just go ahead and describe like what that is? It's because look, I'm a veteran too. I know there's something that draws us to kayak fishing or hunting or whatever outdoors, but me and you've seen the found fishing. And we know that there's a lot of shit going on with vets these days. Like I just lost a friend, like a few days ago, which that sucks. Because there's so much out there that if people just kind of just open up and explore some things and kind of stay away from other things, like how your world could change with just a simple little hobby or a new passion or something like that.
Sure. Um, well, the Fallen Outdoors is a veteran-run organization. We're a 501c3 staffed completely by volunteers. We've got teams in 2 states with 250,000 members nationwide. And our simple mission is just to get veterans and active duty members, reserve guard, doesn't matter how you serve. Our job is to just get you in the woods or on the water. And I really enjoy getting people out on the rivers there in the Ozarks. And um, I really get a kick out of seeing them catch their first smallmouth or a PB or whatever. And it's something that I get just as much out of it as they do. I'm almost positive, but I know that I did a good job when I get a phone call the next day saying, "Hey man, what do you think about this kayak?"
Right.
Uh, you're done.
Yeah. Yeah. You just you got a new sport, a new addiction, all kinds of things. But how big is the Fallen Outdoors grown? Because I remember we talked about it the first time you came on the show, which is probably around the same time, last year, maybe a little bit earlier. But how big has it grown? Did the pandemic slow it down at all?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely slowed down some of the trips because our our headquarters for TFO is in the Pacific Northwest, so Washington State and somewhere around Seattle, maybe I don't know, but so they got hammered really hard with all the restrictions, so that took away a lot of their trips that they planned on doing. But I think I want to say we still got out like 30,000 something veterans this year.
Jeez.
So um, that's a lot of people out in the woods and on the water
Yeah.
for a down year.
Right. Now, how many states is this around? Like, I know it's in the Ozarks, and I know in the Northwest, but is it creeping its way down south into these other areas?
Yeah, we got teams in 42 states, and if you ask me which 8 aren't included, I'd be lying if I told you.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, the South region is uh, is really active. I've got a guy that runs the Florida team that lives over in Tampa St. Pete area, and he's got guys going out with him like pretty much 2 or 3 times a week to go bow fishing for rays. And then there's another guy that runs hog and nuisance gator hunts and stuff like that. So um, yeah, there's something to do for everybody. That's for sure.
Well, how many or like where's the funding and the things that are going? Because none of these trips are free. Boats aren't free. Like where's the who's investing into you guys?
Yeah, funded completely by donations. Uh, we've got we usually host banquets and other types of fun. Like a couple years ago, we hosted a fireworks at a town like 20 minutes from us, and we split proceeds with TNT or whoever ran it, like almost 50-50. So um, they get their end, and we provide the manpower, and we get our side once we wrap everything up. But donations is the biggest part.
Okay. Now, where does it like? Where's it mostly people follow it at? Instagram, Facebook, websites, things like that.
Facebook's definitely our biggest way to reach people. We've also got a website, thefallenoutdoors.com, donation tab directly on the website. It's also got a link to I think it's a Shopify store. Got swag, they sell that, hats, T-shirts, stickers, stuff like that. Um, but yeah, the donations and the banquets are definitely what keep us running.
Okay. So, what do you think is the biggest draw for like? You think it's the hunting, the fishing? What's been like the biggest thing you see that like really gets vets excited?
Uh, the hunting is probably more popular because there's more things to hunt. Um, but I mean, I'm partial to the kayak side. If I run a trip, it's usually kayaks. I hosted a river a couple years ago, and then this last spring we had a river turkey hunt. Um, but we'll see. I mean, I'd much rather be fishing than hunting, unless I'm taking my kids. But
Right. Well, what's the outreach part of it? Like, how do they how are you guys getting the word out? Like who's? I mean, are you guys have like liaisons or like USO type settings or VA type things? Like, how do people like? How are you guys doing like reaching out and trying to find vets? Because sometimes they can't find you. You know what I mean? And you want to get your name out there, and you're doing trips. You know, which means they got to sign up for. So you got to put these trips out there. Like, how are people? How are you finding people, and not just them finding you?
a lot of it is word of mouth. I mean, once you get a couple people in an area that learn about you, it kind of spreads like wildfire. Especially if there's a good trip going on, like because guys will talk to their buddies, "Hey, there's a hog hunt in Alabama. Do you want to go with me?" You got to put in like, "Okay, send me the link or whatever," and so that's why we've got 250,000 members across the nation. Probably more than that by now.
Jeez. Yeah, that's a lot. I didn't realize you guys are that big. It's you know, I love seeing these programs, and I love this one because I know you, you know, through the other guys you know on the show, and you know, and it's just fun to see. You know, it's one I like seeing vets like, giving back to vets because I think that's a lot of problems that we have is like you know it's like everybody wants help or wants to you know whatever, but they don't realize like how beneficial it is to be the one that's doing the helping, and like how much more you get out of something when you're the one that's out there like doing things for other people. I'm not saying that you know, like, you know, people don't need things done for them, but I'm saying like it's. I love seeing like vets giving back because I think it's. I think that's like the best thing you can do sometimes is put yourself in a place where like you're helping others.
Yeah, I mean, the reason I do it is because it worked for me. Like, I battled depression for several years, and um, a big part of that was survivors survivors guilt, survivors remorse, you know, and the lack of camaraderie. I mean,
Right.
going from a tight knit unit and getting out of the army, punching the clock with guys that wouldn't piss on you if you're on fire. I
Yeah.
mean, it sucks.
Yeah.
And having a group of people that you can call your brothers and sisters is super important. I mean, maybe me more than some people, but I I'm kind of an antisocial guy. Like if you see me in like a big public setting, I'm in the corner like keeping an eye on everything. But
Yeah.
I gotta have my close circle of friends too. So it's kind of weird. I
No,
guess
no, no, no. I get it. Like, you know, my biggest problem, like, you know, like being a vet, everyone's like this stigma. Like, it's always about the war. It's always about the war. And like, I'm like, nah, the war didn't really bother me that much. In fact, if I'd probably go back there if you'd let me. But it's the getting out and it's the going home and like and trying to find a circle because you know I'm surrounded by thousands of people, but for some reason I can't like open up and just start being friends with people. Like I gotta find someone who's got shitty tattoos or dips or curses or drinks too much or you know like uses the same because like my sense of humor is different. The way I talk, the way you know like the
sure.
person yeah like the character that I am was built around like this toxic masculinity. All these psychopaths who you know like they're kicking door like whatever. Those are the kind of guys I pretty much grew up with like my whole adult life, and so to get out and like now we're being nice to each other and you know like when I was growing up like my mouth was never it was you like whenever someone says something it had usually had to do with my mouth and another male's genitalia or something like that, you know what I mean? Like there was never a nice moment, you know, like everything was like sarcasm and dark humor and you
Yeah.
get here and you're like well shit, you know, like where am I like who am I gonna hang out with? Like I'm weird, you know, like you're trying to you know exist in like a peaceful society but I'm not a peaceful person. I'm like, you know, I'm edgy. You know, I have foul mouth. I'm, you know, all these things. So, you know, it's tough. So, like, to find people who are kind of like minded and to give you that space you need sometimes from like the real world and like all the people around you, it helps. It makes things different because it gives you that buffer. Because these people I'm around, they need a buffer from me. Okay, they can't be around me all the time because it's chaos. You know, I am the bull in the china shop. But you know, it's nice to have people that I know who served and who's you know similar stories, but it's not even the stories. It's just the personalities that I'm so used to. Like people don't understand. Like that's the part that hurts the most when you get out. It's like I no longer have those kind of people that I was with every day. Like I wake up at 5 o'clock, scratch my eyes, my balls, rub my eyes, brush my teeth, and go PT in the morning. Then come back and I run the guys, I give them formation, I yell at them, we get shit done, tasks done, and we get off work. We go to Buffalo Wild Wings after, we have beers and eat chicken wings and whatever, get into trouble, whatever we're gonna do. But that was like my life for so long, and just to not have that kind of circle anymore was it was a rude awakening, and that's why like hobbies and things like that have been very important to me like the last 5 years.
That's what makes TFO so special, is because you got probably, I don't know, you probably have people within 15 miles of you that are in the same boat as you.
Yeah.
Looking to connect with other dudes that have shared interests. And even if it's, I mean, I'm sure you've met plenty of people through kayak fishing, and they would have a very different background possibly than you. But if you get involved with TFO, you might find guys that have the same interests as you and also a similar background. Like maybe one of them is a dual service Marine and Army vet. I mean, you never know. So you might have so much in common that neither of you would ever shut the hell up,
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's weird. Like you at work, I'm just angry and quiet, but you put me around like a bunch of veterans, and I'm home. No matter what they do, they could be a bunch of pogues, whatever. I get it. Not everyone could be the infantry. I know everybody wants to be the infantry, but everyone could be the infantry. But but it doesn't matter. Like you put me around a vet, like I can speak that language, and we got common ground, and we've done the convoys, and we've done the ball busting, and we've done all that stuff, and so it's always just nice to have like a common ground, regardless of who it is. It's just for some reason with veterans, I just click better with.
Yeah, I mean, the cool thing is that like finding ways to move on and have lead a what's the word I'm looking for? A productive life. I mean, not living in the past is super
important.
I mean, I don't really like talking about shit that happened 15 years ago.
Right.
I mean, that stuff's inconsequential now. I mean, maybe it'll come out in a history book, but I'm worried about what's happening tomorrow. Like, I want to know who I'm going to out. I want to know which lake I'm fishing, which river I'm going to hit, and who I can get out, because that's so many cool people through TFO, and some of them are my best friends now. And I mean, I can't even hardly go a day without texting some of them or seeing them. If I'm in town, we see each other quite a bit. So it's a great way to form some personal bonds with people that you might not have ever even thought of introducing yourself to.
Yeah, you made a good point though. Like the camaraderie is good too, but I think the learning how to move on and live life. I think that's the struggle a lot of us have too. Is that like we don't realize it's just over, and like we can never go back to our glory days. I'm never going to be 25 years old again. I'm never going to be an E5 sergeant, team leader. I'm never going to live that life again. Like this is it. Like I have to learn how to live and go forward without it, and pretty much put that shit in a my Foot Locker, like a high school quarterback has to eventually fold his jacket up and put it away, because he's never going to be a high school quarterback. Like he's got to move on. He's got to figure out what he's going to do with the rest of his life. And I think finding things like this, are important to me, because this is what I do now. I'm not a soldier anymore. I'm a fucking kayak angler now. This is what I want to do. This is what this is what I wake up to do. This is what all I think about. I had to force myself to think about other things, like my wife's birthday and my children's Christmas and things. I had to force myself, because this thing consumes me, and which is what I need, because that's how my life has always been. I've had all these tasks, purpose type stuff that have just been that's what my life's been about. So it's nice to have something that's not army related, that's not military related, that I can still make goals and accomplishments, and still find that instant gratification that I need sometimes. Whether it's doing well at a tournament or having a really good podcast with someone or something like that. But it's those are the kind of things I gotta have to kind of help me as I'm progressing, throughout the rest of my life.
Sure, all that's super important, because I mean, how else can you grow as a human if you're not looking forward? If you're looking in the past, not doing anything productive. So I, that's one of the biggest things that I think the people that are having issues is they're dwelling on the past instead
Yeah.
of concentrating on what they got in front of them.
Yeah, and I really just trying to build a brand new life, and it's going to happen anyways. You can have like a good life that's productive, like you said, or you're just going to have a shitty life that's not productive. That's not going to lead to places that you want to go, and that's what we see so many times with the suicide rates or the addiction rates, or all the tragedies that happen to service members after they get out. And it's because they live in the past, or they're not willing to adapt to what's predominantly going to happen anyway. Like it's over. This is it. This is your life now. And if you don't take charge of it, if you don't take ownership of it, and if you don't, find ways, to whatever, to be productive of your time and to be positive and whatever. Like you're not going to enjoy the rest of this life, and it sucks though. Because I look at these guys, like, dude, you absolutely deserve to be happy. You absolutely owe it to yourself to live the best life you could possibly live. Like you earn that right. It's paid for in blood. Do it. But it's not something that you have to be proactive about it. You have to dedicate yourself to whatever it is that you're going to do now, and you have to let go of all the shit in the past, because it's all it is. It's just it's a memory that's getting harder and harder as I get older to remember. All the things. My memory's getting old. Like I remember things, but not as good as I used to. And it's all these things are going to be. They're going to be pictures and memories, and I'll see, and that's it. But that doesn't do anything for me today. Like it doesn't make me a better person. It doesn't make me whatever. Like the choices I made today, as far as like whatever. I got to change all the. I got to clean my reels. I organize all my weights, my tackle box. I cleaned the house before my wife got home, which is I don't know how I pulled that off, but those are the things that I do every day. Kind of making these conscious decisions to do things that matter instead of just worrying about the past or where I'm at now, because whatever, because I can't just let something go.
Yeah, you brought up a really good point. You said you're slow some of the stuff that happened. There's one big thing that I'll never forget happening, and that's getting food poisoning from vegetables that were washed in Iraqi shit water.
Oh, you had that happen to you too?
Yeah.
Coming out your mouth and your ass.
That was terrible.
Yeah. I
never ate vegetables that weren't grilled again.
Yeah. Yeah, when I look back on it, man, like the things I really like, I don't know what it is, like just because of the recent tragedy I just suffered or whatever, the things that I remember the most, because everybody, like I said, everybody wants to talk about the war, blah, blah, blah. But to me, it's like, I think about these guys that I served with, and I was really thinking hard about it. It's just like, like we've done so much together. Like I shared so much of my life with these guys, like whether it was getting married and them being there, or the birth of my children and them being around. It's us going through the ranks together, getting our stuff together, earning our, like literally standing next to each other as we're getting, getting our new stripes and going to leadership schools and, becoming like going from kids and like slowly becoming men with these other men, and those are the kind of memories like I really focus on now. I could care less about the kicking the doors in and the gunfire. It's like all these other things, because like those things mean something to me now. Like you didn't think about it back then. You didn't realize what was really going on, like how important like those nights are when the guys came over to watch the fights at your house, or or whatever. Like just those kind of things that you just, they get overplayed because there's this whatever, this war thing that everybody wants to talk about. I love thinking about all the other things, and like one of the stories that you're talking about, like it was hot as fuck in Iraq one time, and we arrived to the sheik's house, and they had a banquet set up for us with all the food, and all I saw was like this metal like cylinder of water, and it was like you could see how cold it was, and there was like ice in it. And we did like it was like a 3-click or whatever 6-click movement, and it was like August or July in Iraq, which we all know that's like death temperatures when you got your full kit on, and all I could see was that ice cold water, and I took a sip of it, and then like literally the next day, like running up and downstairs to go throw up and shit in a porta john, all day long. I couldn't keep anything down, and that's how I spent a whole day, was like my face in some nasty ass 200 people sitting in a day, porta john, just vomiting and throwing up, and like like how you sit at home, like sometimes we get sick at your house, and like you're on the ground, throwing up. I was sitting like that, but in a nasty ass porta john because I was weak, dehydrated, dying, all for that cold water.
I would have went out by the fence line. That I would not do that in a porta john. I would have and puke at the same.
Yeah, I mean,
no way.
That makes sense now, but I can't go back and change this shit. It really happened.
No wonder you were infantry.
Yeah, no shit. I mean, that's some infantry shit right there. So, all right, man. Well, it was good talking to you, man. I don't want to take up too much time. I know you got homework. I got some shit like that, but I wanted to talk to you because I'm super stoked for you, man. I'm glad you're there. I know you worked hard to get there, and I know you're just like me. You got so much other stuff going in your life. So when something like this happens, I think it should be talked about a little bit. So good luck with the rest of your time. I hope you find them. I hope you kick ass. I'll be rooting for you, and we'll talk to sometime in when my spring starts.
Awesome. Good luck, and I guess just hold yourself over with some ice fishing or something.
Yeah, that's what I'll do. I'll go ice fish. All right, brother. Good talking to you. Like I said, good luck, and we'll talk to you again soon. All right.
All right. Take care.